Here are 3 questions that can completely change your life if you challenge yourself to get through them and really gain clarity. As I have coached and consulted thousands of people over the past 2.5 decades, I've come to the conclusion that I don't always have the answers, but I do have the questions. And if you can ask yourself the right questions, typically the answers are inside of you. One of the questions that I always ask people are you creating the life that you want? Or have you just hopped on the river of life, and wherever the river of life is taking you is where you're gonna end up? Research shows that most people look back and wish they would do things differently. Research shows that most people, when they look back over the years, they ask themselves the question, what in the hell happened? And if you feel like that's you, let's talk about how you can make some shifts and make shifts today. Here's the last thing I'll say when it comes to this. You are going to mentally struggle because it might be foreign to you because you just have never lived in this space. Maxwell Maltz wrote a book, I think in the 1950s, called Psycho-Cybernetics, which says we all have a mental cybernetic mechanism. And that cybernetic mechanism is to keep us comfortable, to keep us kind of status quo. A cybernetic mechanism is it's like a thermostat in a room, right? These thermostats are there to control the temperature. You want the temperature of the room 72 degrees, that cybernetic mechanism will keep the room at 72. So if it gets to 73, it might turn the AC on to cool it down. If it gets to 70, it might turn the heater on to make it, that's a cybernetic mechanism. Autopilot on an airplane is a cybernetic mechanism. It helps keep the airplane on course. So if the airplane gets off course by lightning or turbulence or whatever, it will keep the airplane back on course. Maxwell Maltz, in all his research, says that we all have cybernetic mechanisms, which means when we start asking ourselves these questions, our mind will try to bring us back to what we know. Our mind will try to bring us back to what is comfortable. We may not like it, but at least we know it and we're comfortable. As I walk through some of these things, I am going to highlight what's right for me. Now, I will be the first to tell you that the definition of success is different for everybody. My definition of success is definitely not gonna motivate you. Your definition of success is not gonna motivate me. So as I provide examples, realize they are just examples. And again, I don't have the answers for you, but I do have the questions. And let's first start off with, are you clear on what you want to accomplish in life? Are you clear from a professional standpoint? Are you clear from a personal standpoint? Also, let's remove kind of the work-life balance. I think life is life. Let's look at work-life integration. Let's look at this equation from a standpoint of how do you look at the totality of your life and ask yourself the question, am I clear? And if you're not clear, what are things that you can do to create that clarity where you can create a life that you can walk into and look back with no regrets? Instead of saying, what in the hell happened, we should all be saying, that was one hell of a ride. So let me give you a couple questions to begin to think about. Here's the first question. Do you truly know what's important to you? Do you truly have the ideas? If I would wake you up at 2 a.m. and said, what truly is important to you in life? Would you have those things? Are they clear and are they outlined? For me, it's super simple. I have 6 things that are important to me and they're stack ranked every single day. All right, it's my faith, it's my family, it's my health, it's my business, it's my social, and it's my charity. It's 6 things in life that I want to drive massive impact around on a daily basis. And within those things that are important, there are non-negotiables every single day that I want to make sure I hold true to myself. So do you have those things? And they don't have to be mine. Again, my definition isn't going to motivate you to do anything, but are you truly crystal clear on what's important to you? The next question becomes are you clear on what you truly value? It could be the same things that are important to you. It might be different, but again, are you clear on those things? I value choices. I value the ability to choose what I do every single day I wake up, where I spend my time, who I spend my time with, what I spend my time doing. And because if I have choices, I have more freedom. I have freedom to do the things that I want to do versus feeling forced to do things that others want me to do. And so those 2 questions are vital to really create a life that is fulfilling and satisfying and creates happiness for you. Again, most people my argument is, are not doing this. They hop on the river of life, wherever the river of life takes them, they look back and they say, what the hell happened? Instead of that old, it was a hell of a ride. Here's the value in truly understanding what's important to you and what it is you value. If you have those two things, the next question becomes, am I living into what's important and what I value? It allows us to do a self-audit. And I will tell you, I audit myself all the time. And sometimes I am succeeding, and sometimes I am failing miserably. Sometimes when I audit myself, remember what's important to me. Again, this is not about me, but just to give you an example. Remember, faith, family, health, business, social, charity. Those 6 things every single day in stacked, ranked order. Sometimes when I audit myself, number 4 is number 1. Sometimes I will put business before my faith, before my family, before my health, which means I need to do one of 2 things. Stop bullshitting myself and really rearrange what's important to me, or get back in line and doing the things that really make sure my faith, my family, and my health show up in my life every single day. So those are some questions. And if you don't have that, if you're not clear on that, I challenge you, pause the video right now. Hell, turn the video off. Take 15, 20 minutes and really, for some of you, it might take 15 or 20 minutes. For some of you, it might take 15 or 20 days. However long it takes, I can promise you that short-term investment will create long-term dividends and lead to more fulfillment and lead to more of a life that you feel you're in control of versus a life that is completely in chaos. Think about those things. What truly is important to you. Outline them, write them down. There's something magical when you go from here to paper. There's something magical when you actually physically write it down, when you journal things. Put it in a computer, put it in your phone, put it in your iPad, put it on a laptop, wherever you put it. Or just write it down. Do the old-fashioned way. Use a pen and a piece of paper. What's truly important to you, and then what is it that you value, and then are you living into those things? And if you're not living into those things, it's not a negative, it's not an indictment. It's now the next question becomes, because all these questions just lead to more questions, the next question becomes is, what shifts do I need to make? What shifts can I make in my life that allow those things that are important to me and the things that I value to show up? Personally and professionally. I will tell you, when I talk to people about this, most people can't even fathom this because they're caught up in all the noise. Everything that's happening at work, everything that's happening at home, and they just feel like they can't breathe. They honestly feel like they have no control over their life. And maybe it's not about taking a giant leap right now for you. Maybe it's about taking the first step. Maybe it's just about getting that clarity and that alignment around those 3 things. What's important? What do I value? And am I living into those things? And what's the first shift I can make, big or small, as long as we're making progress? I always say it doesn't matter if we move an inch or a mile, as long as we're moving in the right direction. And so that's the challenge. That's the challenge to you, is to look in the mirror, do an audit, ask yourself those things, take some time and really get into thought and get into the mindset and get into the approach. Even if you really feel like this is too woo-woo or too taboo, take the first step. You never know, because of what happens a lot of times throughout this process, and I found this with people that I have advised and consulted over the years, is these conversations, whether it's with yourself or with others, lead to ideas. New ideas that you would never even known if you didn't start these conversations. Those ideas lead to potential I-dids, or things that you implement. Things that you shift, things that you change, lead to the way that you potentially show up differently in life. And out of all of that creates new ideas that you could not have created if you didn't originally start with conversations like this. So that's the challenge. That's the challenge, is to really think about those things, get clear on those things, get aligned on those things, and then just take one step. Take one step at a time. So if you really take this journey, you're going to be challenged mentally. And you're going to be challenged with these things of, can I really do this? Do I need to do this? Will I do this? Am I committed to doing this? And all those questions at the beginning will typically be negative. Research shows that we think between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% of those thoughts are negative. 80% of the time, left to the human mind, we will go to the negative. And when we begin to ask ourselves these questions, we'll think it's all bullshit. We'll think, well, I can't really do this. Challenge yourself to challenge yourself. Instead of doing like a time and motion study, I always hear people like, let me do a time and motion study. Let me track where I do my time. Do a thought and motion study. Think about what you think about. It's really scary. Think about those things. And a lot of times that thought and motion study, it is scary to really think about what we think about. And that's why the mind will bring you right back to what you know to be true, even if you're not happy or you're not satisfied, because at least you know it and it's comfortable. Because if you think about it, when you're having these conversations, you're gonna have to get through these 6 layers, right? You gotta get through hearing yourself, you gotta get through listening to yourself, you gotta get to agreeing with yourself. You got to get to the point where you believe you can do it. You got to get to the point where you're actually going to take action and take that first step. So there's a lot of different things that you're going to go through mentally, which will be the biggest challenge. Now, again, maybe some of you are completely happy. Maybe some of you don't want to change. Or maybe you're just bullshitting yourself. The biggest promises we break every single morning are the promises to ourselves. We always say, we're going to start that diet. We always say, we're going to look for a new job. We always say, we're going to get out of a relationship, whatever it is. But a lot of times, we let ourselves down because we lie to ourselves constantly and we never stay true and committed to ourselves. So what can you shift? Start by getting clear, start by understanding yourself, and take that first action. You never know where the path might lead. If this message resonated with you, please share, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more.